I'm Carol McCarthy here on TV3 with a special assignment today and also on KDLM, and we are here to talk about there's an upcoming banquet. Health Resources is having an upcoming banquet in Fergus Falls on Monday, November 6th, and again in Detroit Lakes on Tuesday, November 7th. It's their annual banquet. Of course, Health Resources is a pro-life Christian pregnancy help center, and they bring in a guest each year to talk about experiences, and this year the guest is Abby Johnson, and I want to welcome Abby, who's joining us via telephone today. Welcome to the Detroit Lakes listening area, Abby.
No, thank you so much.
Well, first off, you've got a very interesting story that you will be sharing coming up in November in Fergus Falls and Detroit Lakes. You are an author. You're also a founder of an organization. You worked for a Planned Parenthood clinic for a number of years, and you had an experience at that clinic that changed your life, and you've gone on to become an advocate for the unborn. And you're going to share your story at this Health Resources banquet. So let's learn a little bit more about Abby Johnson. Share a little bit of your experience with our listeners and our viewers today.
Sure. So I worked at Planned Parenthood in Texas for 8 years. I was a clinic director and left in October of 2009 after a few things happening. One, we were directed to increase abortion quotas, so the amount of abortions that we had to sell each month to women. And that was troubling to me because I had gotten involved in the organization believing that our goal was to reduce the number of abortions, not to meet and double this quota. And then ultimately, though, I left in October after witnessing a live ultrasound-guided abortion procedure where I saw a 13-week-old baby fight and struggle for his life against the abortion instruments. And I knew then that there was humanity in the womb, there was life in the womb, and if those two things were true, then I needed to leave. And so I left and have been speaking out about my experiences with Planned Parenthood and inside the abortion industry ever since.
All right. So you're bringing your story here to Minnesota, Fergus Falls, and Detroit Lakes, and you're connecting with Health Resources as well. You have gone on to write a book called Unplanned, and you're also the founder of And Then There Were None. Let's talk a little bit about how you became connected to Minnesota here, and to share your story coming up in November.
Sure. So Health Resources contacted me and asked if I would be interested in coming up and sharing my story with them. And I'm always happy to support pregnancy resource centers all across the country. They're doing good work and helping women make informed decisions about their pregnancies and their health care. And so that was sort of how I got connected with them. And then I do run an organization called And Then There Were None, and we work to get abortion clinic workers out of the abortion industry and into life-affirming health care. And so we've been at this for about 5 years, and we've had almost 400 abortion clinic workers leave their jobs and come to our organization.
All right, so it's an incredible story, and Abby Johnson is going to be speaking in November at the Health Resources banquet. That's going to happen Monday, November 6th, and in Fergus Falls and in Detroit Lakes on Tuesday, November 7th. So Abby, prior to Planned Parenthood, what was your experience? You were the director at Planned Parenthood. Do you have medical experience, and how did you get connected with Planned Parenthood originally?
Yeah, no, medical experience isn't necessary to work at Planned Parenthood. It was interesting, actually. I supervise doctors, but I have no medical credentials, not even a medical assistant. All of their training is done just in-house, and I had been trained by their people, and I'm a therapist by education, so that was that's what my degree is in and my license is in. Never been in the medical field before then. I got involved with Planned Parenthood as a college kid, just looking for a place to volunteer and do some work. I didn't know anything about Planned Parenthood, and so I was sort of lured in by the idea that, we're helping women, through all this health care we provide, and abortion is just such a small percentage of what we do, and just sort of this necessary evil. It wasn't until I got pretty high up in management that I realized that those were just simply talking points and not what we really believed.
All right, so you have a different perspective on things now, and it is an organization that people do hear a lot of. I think in particular in college, it's a recognizable name, but your experience will be an interesting one to hear coming up here in Fergus Falls and Detroit Lakes. If someone out there is in the situation or has had an abortion, or somebody may be contemplating an abortion, what can you tell them, or what can you share with them?
Well, I would just hope that they would reach out to an organization like Health Resources, that they would, get more information about their pregnancy, about different support agencies that can help them through this time. My mom has often said, don't make a permanent decision based on a temporary situation. And I think that that's good wisdom. Sometimes we feel like we're in a situation that we just can't get out of, and we don't know the answers. But there are so many people who are willing to help, who want to help, and who are waiting to provide you with whatever resources and support you need. So I would encourage you to reach out. And if you have had an abortion, I would also encourage you to reach out to the center. There's many resources available for you. You don't have to live with regret for the rest of your life. You can find healing, and there is hope. And sometimes it's just a phone call away, and being able to share your story with other people and share with people who have gone through the same experiences is sometimes very healing. And so, you don't have to live in your past. You can live today in the present, and you can find healing.
All right, Abby, I appreciate you speaking with us this morning, and thanks so much. And again, Abby Johnson will be speaking at the Health Resources annual banquet, and that's happening again in Fergus Falls on November 6th and in Detroit Lakes on Tuesday, November 7th. Just a few things about Health Resources. Again, it's a pro-life Christian pregnancy help center offering women pregnancy testing and ultrasound. And if the woman is troubled when she finds out she's pregnant, they're there to talk over fears and resources. Also, Health Resources has been serving women in the Fergus Falls area since 1983. Last year, a satellite office was opened in Detroit Lakes, and that came from support from the DL community. So they're a nonprofit, and they're supported mostly by donations from the community, and they are having their banquet coming up on Monday, November 6th in Fergus Falls, and on Tuesday, November 7th in Detroit Lakes. And if you want to find out more information on the banquets and also to make reservations, which you can do now, you can go to the websites. Fergus Falls website is www.hrcff.org, or in Detroit Lakes, it is www.hrcdl.org. For TV3, I'm Carol McCarthy.